State will pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Ms. Nester? Ms. Nester, before you begin, what time would you like to break for lunch? I don't want to interrupt a line of questioning, and so I just want to make sure that we're just taking a look at the clock and when you feel is a good time to break, roughly in that 12:10 range.
I will aim for that, Your Honor. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
May it please the court.
Yes.
Good afternoon, or morning still.
Morning.
Officer Bagley, my name is Kathryn Nester. I'm one of the attorneys representing Mr. Robinson today, and I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
So you mentioned that you checked in around 11 a.m. on the day of the shooting. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you know in advance there was going to be this event on campus?
I did. I signed up for an overtime shift, so yes. For
You
the special
signed-
event, I signed up for the overtime shift.
Got it. And so did you attend any type of debrief or briefing or meeting to prepare for the security of this event?
I did not, because that morning when I got there, we had individuals on top of the Hall of Flags. So when I walked in, I just checked on, was going to get my uniform on. The chief, Long, got a text or an email or phone call stating that there's people on top of the Hall of Flags throwing stuff down to the tent. Therefore, he sent the two officers that were on duty down to secure the area. I got dressed and then came back on, and then went to the Hall of Flags to secure that area.
So you never attended any kind of, I'll just use the word debrief or meeting to talk about what the officers on scene were going to do that day to keep everybody safe?
No, not that morning.
Do you know if there was such a meeting?
I don't know, because when I got there, it was starting to, people were throwing stuff down on the tent.
And do you know how many UVU officers you guys employ normally?
Employee, there was 15.
And do you know how many were assigned to cover that event that day?
That were assigned to cover it. There was 6 of us that were, there was patrol 1 and then 5 others that were there with the chief.
Did you all have an idea there were going to be thousands and thousands of people there? Or was that a surprise to you?
Had an idea.
And you only had 5 officers?
6, yes.
6, I'm sorry, I'm counting you, I was
Yes.
thinking. And of those 6 officers, are you all armed? Do you carry weapons?
Yes.
What type of weapons do you carry?
Glock, pistols.
And was there any use on campus of, I think they're called magnetometers, but the machines you walk through at TSA on the airport where it checks to see if you're carrying anything metal, what we all had to go through to get in the courtroom. Were there any machines like that set up or being used on campus that day?
No.
And as far as you know, were there any drones that were flying above campus that day?
Not that I know of.
And did anyone ever talk to you about covering anything near or on top of or in the Low C building? Were you ever assigned that area before the shooting?
No,
Do you know who was?
I don't.
And when you got up to the roof that afternoon, was anybody around that was law enforcement?
No.
Nobody on the roof?
No.
Nobody on the stairway?
No.
Nobody on the walkway?
No.
Okay. And in the state of Utah, is a campus a gun-free zone? Are students allowed to have guns on campus?
It's an open carry state, so yes.
And did you see anybody that was armed that day other than law enforcement?
I did not see.
Were you aware of whether Mr. Kirk had his own security team present there with him?
Yes.
Did you communicate with any of those people?
I saw one individual that was on top of the Hall of Flags right next to me, yes.
Okay, and that was before the shooting?
Yes, and then I saw several down in the crowds and down by him, yes.
And were you aware of whether that person was armed either?
I was aware he was armed.
Okay. Was there any other law enforcement agency besides Mr. Kirk's private security team and your 6 officers, including you, that were covering that event that day? In other words, did you have any Provo police or Orem police or anyone that you knew of, or federal agencies?
I don't know.
You never saw any that day?
No, not until the response came in.
And you did mention, I think I heard you just a few minutes ago testify, you turned over the scene on the roof to a woman who was a deputy sheriff, right?
Yes,
And that you turned over the scene where the individual dropped off to, I believe you said, was it Orem Police?
Payson.
Payson Police, thank you. Those people weren't there till after the shooting, right? They were part of just a response of everybody in the area?
Correct.
Okay. Did you receive any type of briefing materials, written materials prior to the event that talked about who would be covering what or anything like that?
No, not that morning. Like I said, it started getting hectic, so we were trying to get down there, secure the area, and push people away from the top of the tent.
Now, when this event was over, you prepared a report, is that right?
I did.
And in the report, it covers a lot of what you testified to with Mr. Grunander, doesn't it?
Yes.
And I think you said you attended, what, 600 hours of post-training?
It's around 600 hours, yes.
And I'm sure somewhere in that training, you were taught the importance of your police report
Yes.
and how it will be relied on years later to recreate events like it's being done right now. And so you know it's really important to be as accurate as possible in your report.
Yep.
Can we put up Bagley 1? Can we switch it over to the defense table, please? Thank you so much. And show it only to the witness. This is.
All right.
Do you see that report in front of you?
I do.
And is that the report that you prepared, or did you prepare this report?
I didn't. I did a supplement on it, but I didn't prepare the report. So, like, because the incident was a big agency assist, so obviously it says it has all the responding officers to that effect.
Oh, we need to go to the page. Thank you for pointing that out. Can we please move to page 3 or 5, maybe? Let me look and see. All right, now, let me ask the question again. Sorry, you just had the cover sheet up. Is that your report?
Yes, this is.
All right, and did you prepare that?
I did.
When did you prepare this report?
It looks like it was done the next day, either that day or the next day, because I wanted to make sure that I had it done where everything was fresh on my mind.
And do you have a copy of it in front of you?
I do, as a matter of fact.
May I just step in and just make sure that it's the same one? May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Hope you're good.
And this is, we got to ask this now. Did you use AI to help you prepare your report?
I did not.
Okay, good. When you prepared your report, you referenced when you first heard the shot, don't you?
Yes.
And what is the time that you say that you heard the shot?
12:23.
Right. And when you wrote that report, you did not state in your report the direction you heard that shot come from, did you?
No, apparently not.
And take your time and look at the whole report and see if there's anywhere in there where you ever mentioned that it came from the east or to your right.
I don't see his direction.
Okay. And you also, I believe, in your report, you also don't state whether or not, you don't mention anything about thinking it came from the Low C building or anything like that, right?
Later on, when I recognized when I saw the empty holsters, I think I actually said that in there, where I see the empty holster, that I realized the line of sight.
Okay. So let's talk about that holster for a minute. So you heard the shot, and you only heard one shot, correct?
Yes.
And then you came down from the walkway above the tent, right?
Yes.
And you came down to really the grassy area that we've all been looking at, the courtyard.
Yes.
And there was kind of chaos, people running around.
Yep.
Yes. And while you were down there, you saw what you said was an empty holster.
Yeah, it was, as I was clearing people out and making sure that the evidence was preserved, about towards the top, after a little bit, I saw an empty holster sitting there.
And when you say towards the top, can you be specific and tell us where you were?
So on the south side in the courtyard, there's some tiers of seating where the grass is different levels, and it was towards the top, maybe just right before the cement is where everybody's standing, so there's different levels. It's towards the top on the grass.
And when you saw the holster, can you describe to me what it looked like?
An empty concealed holster
For what type of
for a
weapon?
pistol.
Okay. And did it have any markings on it?
I didn't even know, not that I noticed.
And what happened to that holster?
I have no idea.
Did you ever take custody of it?
Nope,
Did you ever tell anyone else to take custody of it?
nope,
You just left it on the grass?
I did.
Was it ever fingerprinted to your knowledge?
I have no idea.
Okay. At some point, there were drones in the air, is that right? Did you become aware of that?
Yes, I was made aware of that.
Right. Do you know who put the drones in the air?
Sergeant Cam Nelson with the Provo Police Department.
Right. So it wasn't UVU?
No,
Did you guys even have drone capability? Did you have a drone on campus that you used?
no,
All right. So someone would have had to bring one after the shooting onto campus because you wouldn't have had one there.
true.
Right. You mentioned that as you were coming down into the grassy area from the top above the tent, you come down the Hall of Flags, you come into the grassy area. You mentioned that you heard, I guess on your radio, that they had a suspect in custody.
Yes.
And so how long do you think between the shot being fired, did you hear that?
I was in, like I said, trying to get down the stairs, jumping over people, trying not to step on people as people were fighting up. Within 30 seconds, maybe.
Right, so they pretty much instantly had someone in custody.
Yes, and that's why I was quite surprised.
Were you aware of where the person was taken into custody?
Right down by where Charlie Kirk was sitting by his tent, somewhere down there.
So in the courtyard area, the person would have been in the courtyard area at the time of the shooting.
Yes.
Was that person in or near or around the holster in any way?
No.
You don't know?
No, he wasn't. Where the holster was up on the top level up there, and it was where when the incident happened, when Charlie got shot. Within seconds, the other officer that was down by him said that he was in custody with a prisoner of the shooter. So they had been
So
within right there.
you didn't, at that time, it was your understanding the person they took into custody was close by Mr. Kirk, is that right?
Yep.
But it didn't occur to you that, well, that's not where I heard the shot come from. They must have the wrong person. I should talk to somebody.
During the chaos moment, no. They said they had a person in custody. I figured those guys saw something I didn't see. They took the person in custody, and I thought that was him.
Okay. This would be a good stopping place because I'm about to start another section.
Okay.
So maybe we could go 5 minutes early for lunch.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, officer.
We're going to go ahead and break for lunch. We'll come back at 1 o'clock. I do want to note for the camera operator, if you would just be cognizant and turn off the microphone during breaks and when we break for recess, that would be helpful. Does either party need the benefit of the record before we break for lunch?
Not the state, no.
All right. We are in recess.
All right.